क्या होता है?
अरे तुम ये चल ए,
वो ले ली।
हेलो 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 am I audible right now?
Yes,
Is the teacher not here or there is some sort of problem?
teacher is there. Just wait.
Is this the doubt session or something else?
Don't
Doubt
know.
session.
What? Hello?
Doubt.
Don't know. Just wait.
Okay.
अब का करेंगे वो नहीं है कि तो ऐसे का खा लिया ये ताकि जरा पीतल के पागल।
अरे वो सब इतने कंजूस है, वो सब किसी को कुछ नहीं देते, वो किसी और को देना था, मुझे दे दिए। हाँ, तो मुझे कुछ देंगे? हाँ? नहीं देंगे।
हाँ
वो कर दो।
हम लोग लगे मत हो रही है।
इस समय पूजा वूजा कर रहे हैं।
Hello? Hello, is the voice glitching only on my side या फिर तुम लोगों को भी ढंग से सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है?
आवाज नहीं आ रहा है।
सभी की आवाज नहीं आ रहा है या फिर बस एक आध का ही है?
किसी को नहीं आ रहा।
ओके।
आवाज तो क्लियर।
ऐसे रुक रुक के आ रही है आवाज।
Hello, sir, ma'am, are you there?
Ma'am is there in the participants list. Just wait.
What? Can you repeat?
Ma'am is in the participants list. Just check over there.
What?
Which page should I open?
Check the participants. Ma'am is CS 1001. Host.
Accept the 4 to 6 round. டவுட் கேட்கணும்னா லைவ்ல தான் பண்ணணும். அப்புறமா வந்து ரெக்கார்டிங்
ऋषराज
Dale mo para sa
Can anyone tell me that while joining this class at the start of this class, does everyone have their whiteboard or it's only for mine?
No, no, it's
Yeah,
for us
whiteboard
also.
for all.
No, it's only for you.
It's gone now, I think.
Now it's gone.
Yeah.
Yes, it's gone.
mara ito po mo. Ay, sama ko sa mo बढ़िया नहीं उड़ना है ना ऊपर करके नेटवर्क सही पड़ेगी यार कैंटीन बोल காலையில பண்ணா காலைசி வந்து வரட்டு ஸ்கூல்ல விட்டு வரட்டு சிக்கன் வாங்கி சமைச்சிட்டு போய் மரம் விட்டு சாப்பிட்டு வரலாம்
It's again opened automatically, guys,
What
right?
is this happening?
ఇక్కడ సిక్కలే రాలా
Who is sharing this board? And this is making any sense.
It's showing automatically, right?
రూమ్ సిద్ధంగా సిక్కలు రావు సరిపోవే కట్ చేయ జూమ్ దా ఇప్పుడు ఉండేసిపోయి
Oh, who is this whiteboard?
Yes.
Till ma'am came, can anyone explain the question number 2 of activity 3.4?
Can someone explain the question number 4 of activity 3.1?
ஒரு வாரம் தானே அதுக்கப்புறம் அம்மா வந்துருவாங்க அப்படின்னு சொன்னா அம்மா வந்தா நான் அம்மா கிட்ட நான் இருப்பேன் அப்படின்னா அதான் அம்மானா அம்மா விட்டுட்டு நீ கடையில இருக்க போறேன் இந்த ஒரு வாரம் தானே சொல்லி சொன்னேன்
Which question, bro?
Question number 2 of activity 3.5.
नाले किस करे नाही चालले यार की तर रिसेट करून
Bro, it's a simple question. Hello? Hello,
असं माग पडतोय पप्पाला विचारा म्हणा आधी
Haven't the session started yet?
मला
no.
When will they?
माग पप्पाला
Don't know.
सांगा मग महाग पडतोय ऑनलाईन स्वस्त पडतोय असं महाग पडतोय ग 30% ऑफर आहे तूच म्हणा
हेलो, इज द वॉइस क्रैकिंग एंड ओनली माय साइड या फिर किसी और को भी वॉइस प्रॉपर्ली नहीं आ रहा है?
Someone's voice is breaking.
मैम,
Voice is breaking. Voice is breaking. Voice is
मैम, योर वॉइस
Ma'am
इज
is
ब्रेकिंग.
ma'am is not here, bro.
Okay, who's there is there any teacher here?
No, bro. There is no teacher.
करते मीटिंग हे का पहिल्या वीक 3 डबल
Everyone,
मीटिंग घेतलं होतं मध्ये ते गॅप
mute
होता का
yourself.
क्वालिफायरचं चालू झालं आणि आमचं आधीच झालं होतं गॅप वीक 3 मध्ये इतक्या दिवसाचा गॅप
Everyone,
दिला
please
Everyone, can you
mute
just mute
yourself.
yourself?
क्वालिफायर साठी होता त्यांचं
Hey,
कव्हर
can you
करून
just mute
द्या.
yourself?
क्वालिफायरला क्विज 1 माझ्या मुलांना
Everyone, can mute yourself.
आता क्विज 1 आणि
Hello,
क्वालिफायर
whoever is shouting here, please mute yourself.
प्लीज एक मिनिट अशी जॉईन होईल आज किती मोठे होते बघितले का
Sud, can you mute yourself?
हात नका
Tanishka, mute yourself.
ऑनलाईन लेक्चरच नाही मी करायला
ये अब्बा डब्बा जब्बा shut up.
तो जब कर रहा है बकवास कौन बोलते हैं
Hello. Who is this? ES1001.
Good, ma'am.
Hello.
That's the
He's
instructor.
instructor, bro.
Okay.
Hello.
Should we stay or leave?
I think, bro, you
Hello.
should leave. You should leave, bro.
अच्छा, एक छोटी सी बात पूछनी थी। जैसे अगर 2 हफ्ते का असाइनमेंट दे दिया, ग्रेडेड असाइनमेंट दे दिया है, और उसमें 40% ज्यादा मिल रहे हैं, तो क्या तुम एलिजिबल हो जाओगे क्वालिफायर के लिए?
Yeah.
तो
हो
उसके लिए कोई
जाएंगे।
मैसेज वगैरह आया तुम लोगों को या नहीं आया?
It's
आपका
already on the portal.
अभी अभी नहीं आएगा।
तो मैसेज वगैरह उसके रिलेटेड कब आएगा?
बोले एक
एग्जाम
वीक
से
पहले आएगा,
एग्जाम से पहले थोड़ा।
1 वीक पहले।
तो
It's
अगर
already on the
वीक 3
portal
और
that
वीक
you
4
are
का काम किया
eligible for the
नहीं किया तो उसका
45.
क्या होगा?
क्विज 1 के
वापस से
लिए
देना
वीक
पड़ेगा।
1 और वीक 2 का होना जरूरी है बस।
और अगर वीक 3 और वीक 4 यानी चाहे तो अवॉइड कर सकते हैं?
नहीं, इसको
नहीं
अवॉइड
भाई,
मत
कोई
करना।
avoid
वीक
नहीं।
क्विज 2 के लिए वीक 3 वीक 4 भी होना जरूरी है, लेकिन क्विज 1 के लिए वीक 1 और वीक 2।
ठीक है।
तेरा
और
CGPA डाउन हो जाएगा।
सिलेबस चारों हफ्तों का ही आएगा?
Yes,
हाँ,
yes.
हाँ,
सिलेबस वही
चारों
रहेगा।
हफ्ते का आएगा।
क्विज 1 13 जुलाई का होगा ना?
हाँ।
हाँ।
क्या क्लास कैंसिल हो गई है?
भाई क्लास तो कैंसिल नहीं हुई।
कोई टीचर वगैरह नहीं है अभी क्लास में?
टीचर ही absent लग रहा है इसका।
Should we leave or something like? Should we leave the class right now?
Wait 5 minutes then leave.
I think we should wait.
Yeah.
मैथ्स में किस किस को दिक्कत आ रही है?
मैथ्स
मन में आ रही है भाई।
के लेक्चर तो जाते हैं, लेकिन फिर वो असाइनमेंट होते हैं ना एकदम से।
असाइनमेंट में गूगली आ जाती है और बहुत बुरी
हाँ,
तरीके से हो जाता है यार।
फिर प्रैक्टिस
वाकई
असाइनमेंट
में।
में आंसर भी आ जाती
तो
है।
तुम लोग ट्यूटोरियल नहीं देखते क्या मैथ्स के?
नहीं
यार
ट्यूटोरियल नहीं देखते
देखते
इतने
हैं,
सारे,
लेकिन फिर
बहुत
भी
सारे हो
इतनी
जाते हैं वो।
हैबिचुअल नहीं
कॉन्सेप्ट
है।
क्लियर हो जाता है।
ट्यूटोरियल नहीं, ट्यूटोरियल में देखोगे ना तो प्रैक्टिस असाइनमेंट जैसे ही क्वेश्चन कराए हैं सर ने।
और उसमें थोड़ा अल्टर और
बट
थोड़े
ये
से
जो
डिफिकल्ट
इन्होंने
क्वेश्चन
वीडियो दे रहे हैं उनकी वॉल्यूम बहुत ज्यादा कम है।
तो अच्छी प्रैक्टिस हो जाती
ऐसे कान से चुपका के देखना पड़ता है, समझ ही नहीं आता आधे टाइम तो बिना कैप्शन के।
यू शुड यूज योर ईयरफोन्स।
तो ईयरफोन के
आई
बिना
यूज
काम
टू।
वाकई में नहीं चलता यार। और अभी हाथ में ईयरफोन और टूट गए मेरे, नए वाले लाने पड़ेंगे।
मेरे को तो इंग्लिश में दिक्कत आती है थोड़ी सी।
इंग्लिश
वीक
में कोई
3 हो
दिक्कत नहीं
गया
है, लेकिन
इंग्लिश
वॉल्यूम
का।
वो लेक्चर्स की
वीक
दोनों,
3।
इंग्लिश हिंदी दोनों।
है।
हेलो। अरे कोई मेरे को ये बताएगा क्या कि जैसे वीक 4 की जैसे डेडलाइन खत्म हो जाएगी, तो उसके बाद का जो पीरियड रहेगा 13 जुलाई तक का, उसमें वीक 5 शुरू हो जाएगा या फिर हमें पढ़ने के लिए थोड़ा प्रिपरेटरी हॉलीडे मिलेगा?
वीक 5 शुरू हो जाएगा।
शुरू हो
वीक
जाएगा भाई।
5 27 को आएगा, 27 को।
जून या जुलाई?
जून।
दिस मंथ ब्रो।
ओके।
So why are the questions?
क्या है 27 जून को?
वीक 5 शुरू हो जाएगा।
अच्छी।
वीक 5 रिलीज हो जाएगा 27 जून को।
ओके ओके।
Guys, 1 second. It's better to speak in English. Some people don't know Hindi.
Sorry for that. I will
Okay.
try my best.
Okay.
But then again, there are
Okay,
a lot of Hindi
I'll
speakers
try.
here, so but then, okay, just forget about it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, sorry. So I did not have any internet connection till now, so I wasn't able to join.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So today, I was told that there was some doubts which were left right in previous sessions. So some activity questions from week 3. So let's first solve those. Then I'll start with week 4.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, please explain the activity 3.1, second last answer. CT.
Yes, yes. I'll go through all the questions. Wait. I'm not able to share the screen. Just a second.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
excuse me.
मैम एक्टिविटी क्वेश्चन 3.1 का मैम फिफ्थ बता देते हैं एक बार।
मैम एक्टिविटी क्वेश्चन 3.1 का क्वेश्चन नंबर 4 बता दीजिए।
Okay, okay. See, we'll go one by one activities and I'll ask which questions. Okay, so let's start with question 5. Okay, so this question is saying that consider a variant of scores dataset with the following minimum and maximum values. Right, so we have another dataset which is like the scores dataset, but not the exact scores dataset one. So in that new dataset, we have minimum which is 50 and maximum 99. So we decide to offer.
Yes, ma'am.
So we decide to offer 5 grades, right? A, B, C, D, E. So A is the highest, E is the lowest. So what would be the range of scores that is associated with a B grade? That means we have to associate every grade with a range of score, right? So usually like in scores data set, we can say that 90 to 100 marks, we say that that is for people who got A grade, right? Then 80 to 90, that is for B grade, like this. So if we have a new minimum, which is 50, and the new maximum is 99, right? And there are 5 different grades that we have to assign. So how many marks are there which we need to assign from 50 to 99? How many integers are there? If I calculate from 50 to 99, how many integers are there, including 50 and 99?
49, ma'am.
It's 50.
14, 15.
Yes, ma'am.
मैम वी
50,
हैव
ma'am.
50
50,
Right.
ma'am.
So if we include 50 and 99 also, we have a total of 50 integers. And how many grades do we have to assign? 5 grades. A, B, C, D, E.
5 grades
Right. So we have to start with the minimum one and then go till the maximum. So how can we equally distribute that? So if we have 50 integers and 5 grades, that means each grade should be assigned how many integers?
We have to divide
we
it.
will be taking average मैम।
So can we take 10 integers per grade?
yes मैम।
Right. So if I take 10 integers, E is the lowest. That means E will
चीनी
start
डाली
from.
हो वही सेम ग्लास है हाँ वही क्या खा लगी
Who is this?
क्या करो जब की
Don't know.
लाइट ऑन ही हो ना हाँ वही लाइट
Anushka Singh, please
on.
mute if you don't have any question. Yeah. Okay. So if we start from 50, right? So E grade should be assigned to which range of values?
50 to for 59, ma'am.
50 to 59.
50 to 59. That is the first 10 integers, right? Then next, just higher than that is the D grade. That should be
Yes,
assigned to
ma'am.
60 to 69. Okay. That's the answer. This is clear?
Yes, ma'am. Now, could you please explain question number 5th of activity question 3.1?
Yeah, that's one thing. So let me first finish all the doubts from 3.1 activity. Okay. So somebody asked this question, right?
Yes,
Question.
ma'am. Activity 3.1, question number 4.
This is the one.
3.1, question number 4.
Yeah, this is 3.1
This is
question. Wait, wait.
3.2. मैम ये 3.2 है.
This, right? Okay, so for this question, let's go through the first question. These are part questions.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
let's assume that we are working with a new data set, okay, which is similar to scores data set. So this data set is given to us in the form of cards, right? So we have all the data sets given in the form of cards only. So we now have a new data set. So here each card has F fields. Okay, that is F number of fields. That means field means attribute. Like in scores data set, each card has a student's name, mark, age, these things, right? So these are all fields of that card. So how many such fields are there in the new data set? Each card, F field. And there are a total of N cards in the data set. So your data set is to be represented as a table where the fields in the cards are the columns. So this is the basic representation of any data set in the form of a table. So each row represents a new card and all the columns are fields of the card. The first question is asking how many rows will the table have? So as many number of cards, that many number of rows. So n cards, n number of rows. How many columns will the table have? Columns is representing what? The fields. So if there are capital F fields in each card, right, that means how many columns are there in the table? F. How many cells will the cell have? Will the table have? So imagine a table now. So first tell me how many rows in this table which represents the data set?
And
Capital N.
yes,
How
ma'am.
many columns?
There are F columns.
So cell means what? The intersection of each row and column, right? So how many such row column intersections? N into F,
N into F.
right? That means what? If I say that for the fourth row and third column, so that is represented by a cell, right? Which means this is the third field for the fourth card that is represented by a cell. So how many such cells are there? N cross F. Just like an Excel sheet, right? Now question 4, that is the one you asked. So if a data entry operator takes t seconds to enter information in one cell, so how much time will it take for the operator to completely fill the table? So t seconds in one cell, how many total number of cells? N cross F. So total number of seconds required, total time required is what? N cross F into T. Right. Is the cell concept clear? Do you need me to repeat that? So this is clear for everyone?
Yes, ma'am. It's clear.
Okay. This question you also asked, this number 5. Okay, so 3.1, any other questions?
Ma'am, question number 5.
Question number 4.
4 only I just said, right? This is question 4.
5th.
5,
The
okay.
ID shop. Shopping bills.
So consider a tabular representation of shopping bills. So again, same thing. Shopping bills also contains cards, right? So each card is one row in the table. Now these are what? These are all the columns. So columns represent what? Field in the card, right? So what are the fields in every card? The ID of the card, the shop name, customer name, item, category. quantity, price, cost, total. These are the same fields present in every card. So this is asking what is the ID of the card that occupies the maximum number of rows in this table. So for this question, I think you have to go through the data set. But which one will be that card? Sorry, can't hear you. Come again.
ID number 3, ma'am.
So why is that? Why is it occupying maximum number of rows?
Because when we go through the data set, we can see there is a maximum row in that.
Right, because that is the card for a particular customer. Right, that person has shopped maybe from all 3 stores. Right, so there are 3 cards for that person. So that could be the maximum number of times that same ID occurs in the table. So for this, you just have to go through the data set once. Okay. You can't solve this without going through data set. Okay. Any other from 3.1? 3.2?
Ma'am, I have doubt in week 2 assignment.
Ma'am, I have doubt in week 2 graded assignment.
Week 2, we already discussed last week. A lot of classes have been given for week 2. So if you still have doubt in it, you can watch the previous lectures or you can just wait till the end of this session. I can take the doubts. Okay. But this session is for week 3 doubts and I have to start week 4 today.
Ma'am,
So
week
let's see.
2 graded assignment is also discussed.
Yeah, graded. I will take the doubts for graded assignment at the end. Just wait a little. For now, let's
Yeah,
first
ma'am.
finish the
Week
activity
2
first.
graded assignment with daughter.
Okay. Just wait till the end of this doubt. Then I'll take the week 2 graded doubts. Then we can start week 4. Okay. Okay. 3.2 activity. Which question? This one. Any question?
Ma'am, excuse me.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I had question apart from this one question that after week 4, week 5 contents will come, but are there deadlines will be before 13 July?
Whatever deadline is showing on your portal.
Till now, week 5 hasn't come. Week 5 content.
Yeah. So week 5, week 4 is showing what is the deadline.
No,
Ma'am,
week
I have a doubt too.
Yeah. 1 second. For week 4,
Ma'am,
what is the
do
deadline?
2 July, ma'am. July 2.
Yeah, so I think that will be 1 week after week 4, right? Anyways, week 5 is not there in your quiz 1.
ma'am, do we get some preparatory holiday for our qualifier exam?
I don't think there will be a holiday for that.
ma'am, I was and for quiz 1 also.
Yeah, for quiz 1.
So I was asking that in quiz 1, week 5 contents will not come, but
No.
we have to
Just week
submit
1
the
to 4.
graded assignment within
Yeah,
the
whatever
graded
is the
time.
deadline, you have to give the assignment within that. But the contents of quiz 1 is just from week 1 to 4.
I'm doubt in activity 3.3.
It is mentioned there. What is the syllabus for
Understood,
quiz?
ma'am.
Okay. Sorry, come again?
Activity 3.3.
No, first let's do 3.2. Anyone has any doubt in 3.2? Then I'll move on to 3.3.
So, ma'am, for the qualified students also, they'll also get the week 5 content.
Everyone should have the same deadline, right? Now you are all having the same deadline for the assignments.
Okay.
Okay, so no question from 3.2, right? Then I'm going to 3.3.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, what if I have didn't complete or I have didn't score more than 40% in my week 1 and 2? So
You have to
It's
submit the upcoming week's assignment on time and with the required score. It is also mentioned in the notification section. You can
just
check from there.
then I will be qualified for writing the exam.
yeah. So just go
Yes.
through the grading document once for qualifier. All the information is given there. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, 3.3, which question?
Question number 6. 6 and 7.
The last question of 3.3.
6 and
First,
7.
let's check. First, let's
The very
check
last
this.
one.
Right.
Seventh.
Yeah, we'll go to 7th. First, let's start with 6. So this is the code, right? So what is happening here? We first have this is going to the words data set, paragraph words data set. So initially count is 0 and sum is also 0. Then we run a while loop where we go through. Are you asking something? Okay. So we go through all of the cards in this while loop, right? Now each card that we go through, so pick a card X from pile 1, you read that card, move it to pile 2. Then what do? You update the sum variable for each card. For each card, for each iteration, we update all 3 variables, right? First, we update sum variable where the letter count is added. Then we update count variable where it is incremented by 1. Then average I. This variable is updated by sum by count. That is the current sum by the current count value. So for every iteration, these 3 variables are updated: sum, count, average I. But average F is only updated once. That is when you have exhausted all the cards in pile 1. That is your entire data set is now empty. I've gone through all the cards. Then you come out of this while loop and you update this average F. So in the last iteration, average I was updated, right, with the current sum and the current count. So sum by count. Now after that, sum and count value hasn't changed, right? So we come out of the loop and that value is now assigned to average F also, right? So what is the
Yes, ma'am,
relationship
clear.
between average I and average F? Same, these are equal.
Just want
Now,
to know the difference between average I and average F.
so average I is what a temporary average, right, which changes with every iteration. Average F is the total average of the entire data set. So what is this? This is the average letter count, right?
Okay,
Average
ma'am,
F is
understood.
the average length of words in the entire data set. So question 7 is saying we plan to have a 3-way classification for both frequency and length. Now for this, you have to check this. Okay, so till now this was the classification. So we had 2 types of frequencies, high and low, and 2 types of words, long and short, right? So high frequency word means what? Which occurs very often in the data set. Low frequency word, which doesn't occur that many times. So what is the long word? When is a word
That has
classified to be long?
word that has letter more than 6.
Right. So that has letter count more than 6. Right. And short is which has letter count less than 6. Now, in a new classification
And if
system,
it is equal to 6?
that is also short.
Then,
Anything that is greater than 6 is long.
I think so. Greater than or equal to 6 is long.
Wait, let me check once. So a word is long if its letter count is 6 or above. Yes. So if
Yes.
if a word is 6 or above in letter count, so 6 or greater than 6, that is a long word. Less than 6 is short word. Right. Now
Yes.
we add 2 more constraints. So like we had high frequency, low frequency. Now we have a new classification where we also have medium frequency. Okay. That is a word occurs at medium frequency throughout the data set. Again, we also have a medium length word, right? Which is not high, not low. It is medium. So the exact constraints are not given that what is the medium length or what, but we have said that now it's a 3-way classification. So we have 3 types of frequencies, 3 types of lengths. So in this type of a setup, right, how many variables do we need? Keep track of the word counts of all different combinations that would come up. So what is the number of different distinct combinations that I can get? Like till now I had high frequency, these are the 4. High frequency long words, high frequency short words, low frequency long words, low frequency short words. Now we also have medium frequency and medium length words. So what is the total number of distinct combinations that I'll first have? So will I also have, now look at this. For high frequency, how many types of words are now there? Long, short, medium. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
For low frequency also long, short, medium. For medium frequency also long, short, medium. So what is the total number of distinct types of words? 3 plus 3 plus 3, 9.
9.
That's the answer. So you need 9 distinct variables to keep track of all different kinds of words in your data set. Understood?
Yes.
Yeah, ma'am.
Any other question from 3.3?
The very last question.
Yeah, this is the last question.
Can you explain, please? यहाँ पे network का थोड़ा problem आ रहा है, light गई हुई है.
The classification was based on frequency and length, right? So till now, what was the two types of frequency? High and low, two types of length of words, long and short. Right. So what was the total number of distinct combinations? 4. So for high frequency, we have long and high frequency short words. And for low frequency, also have long and short words. Now we add a medium frequency and a medium length. So now what is the total number of distinct combinations? So for high frequency now, there are 3 types of words, right? High frequency long, high frequency medium, high frequency short. Again for medium also 3 types, long, medium, short. Again for low frequency also long, medium, short. So what is the total number of distinct word types? 9, right?
9.
So basically you just have to do 3 cross 3. That's all. Any other question from 3.3?
Ma'am, question number 6, ma'am. One doubt, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, how can you say that average I equal to average F?
Wait, first let me do this. Okay. So average I is equal to average F. How I can say is that average I is every time it is updated, right? For every iteration, average I is updated by sum by count, right?
But average I is everything changed, right? It is not same.
Yeah,
In
it is.
question, average I is asked after the execution, and after execution, intermediate average and final average would be same because the sum and count would be the same after execution.
Right. After the last iteration, whatever the sum and count value is, that remains same, right? That does not change. So for last iteration, average I, whatever it is, that same thing will be the value stored in average F also. Because after we come out of the loop, we are not changing sum or count in any way. So the last update happened in the last iteration. Right. So average I, last update, whatever happened, that same update is happening to average F. Average F is only updated once, right? When you come out of the while loop. But average I will be updated as many times as there are cards in your file. Okay. So the last update that happens to average I is the same update that happens to average F. Okay. So 3.4 we should start. Okay. Which question in 3.4?
Question 6 and 8.
Ma'am, can you please repeat 3.35 once more?
3.35. 5, I don't think I did. This is the one, right? So at any intermediate stage in the execution of the above code, what does the variable average I store? So what is average I representing basically? So in each iteration, what are you doing? You're updating sum by the current letter count. You're adding the current letter count to sum, and you're incrementing count by 1 because in every iteration you're reading a new word, right? So if you do total letter count by total number of words, so what does that give you? Average letter count, right? That is average length of all words that you have seen till now.
Okay, ma'am, but why it is option B, not option E? Means why it is not the
Because it is an intermediate, right? It is an intermediate variable, average I. It is not the letter count at any intermediate stage.
ma'am,
After
your
an-
voice is a bit inaudible, ma'am.
It is audible, ma'am.
Is it fine?
A bit breaking.
Ma'am, your voice is audible but a bit low. Your voice is audible actually, but a bit low.
The volume is a bit low. To say the volume is a bit low, you are not loud enough.
Okay. This is the usual
Can you
volume.
be a bit louder while speaking? Like really, the volume is really low, of your voice.
Is this fine? Can you hear?
Yes, ma'am, it's fine.
Okay. So
In this
average
question,
I is not the average of entire data set, right? At any point. So if I have read only 5 cards, At that point, what is average I? Average I is just the average letter count of those 5 words that I have seen till now, right? Option A means average length of all words. The average length of all words will be stored in average I after the last iteration, after you have read the last card, which is also stored in average F. Average F is also the average length of all words in the dataset. But at average I, at any particular point in time, it stores the average length of all words that you have currently seen. So that means all words that have been moved to pile 2.
Ma'am, one doubt, ma'am. How can you say the old words? It is only considering the specific card and its weight. But every time we change the card, this value is changing, right? Then how can you say the old words?
It is changing, but is sum and count value changing? Sum and count are still storing the number of letter counts from the previous words and the number of words that we have seen till now, right? Average I is changing. See, first card that I read, let's say letter count is 5. And at that point, sum count both are 0. Correct. First card I see, letter count is 5. Then sum is updated. Sum plus current letter count, that is 5. So sum is now 5. Count is incremented by 1. Count is now 1. So what is average I? Sum by count, 5 by 1, that is 5. Now you pick the next card. Let's say the letter count is 10. So now sum is what? Sum was initially 5. Now it is 5 plus 10, 15. Count is incremented by 1. So count is now 2. So now average I is what? 15 by 2. So like this, the average I is getting updated, but sum is carrying what? The sum of all letter counts of words that you have seen till now. And count is number of words you have seen till now. Okay. So it is the average length of all words that have been moved to pile 2. Because see, every time you pick a card, you read it and you move it to pile 2. Then only you update sum, count, average I.
So what does average F stores?
Average F is the average length of all words. That is average letter count of the data set, entire data set. So that is the average length of all words in the paragraph.
And average I?
Average I is the intermediate variable. Average I value will change with every card. Average I is the average length of all words in now. So you haven't seen all the cards, right? Point if I say you have only seen as many cards as that have been moved to pile 2. Every time you read a card, you move it to pile 2. So average I at that point is what? The average letter count of that many number of cards that you have seen till now, not the entire data set. At the last iteration, when you have picked up the last card and read it and move it to pile 2, at that point, average I is the average letter count of the entire data set. That's why average I at last iteration and average F both are same. Okay.
So average I and average F both are same actually.
At the last iteration. 3. In this number 6 question, after the code has been executed, which of the following expressions concerns the relationship between average I and average F? I'm not saying halfway through the code. After the entire code has been executed, that is, you have gone through all the cards in pile 1. Then average I is definitely storing the average letter count of the entire data set because you have no more cards left in your pile to check. So you have gone through all the cards.
So exactly I was asking about breaking the steps of average I, that part.
The average I is changing with every card. No, that's the example I just took. That sum will change with every card you pick. Every time you pick a new card, you add the letter count to sum.
Huh.
To increment count by 1. So for every iteration, sum and count value will change, and so will average I change. Right? For
Okay.
every iteration, average I is the average letter count till that iteration, till that many number of cards that you have seen, not the entire data set. Entire data set when you have gone through all the cards.
Okay.
I mean, question how we will come to know which word is long and which one is short.
That is told in the lecture.
That is told in the lecture, but in exams it will be mentioned there or
In
Yeah.
exams, we will definitely mention if we give such a question, we'll mention that, yeah, this is long word, this is short word, this is what we are following, right?
Okay, ma'am.
Just a second.
Ma'am, just one more confusion. Just that average F will be of.
Yeah, continue. Average of what?
So average of AF, it is of entire data set, whatever you told. Exactly what that means.
Means the entire data set, what is the average letter count? Like if I take 10 students and I ask you what is the average age of this group of 10 people. Similarly, if you have 30 cards in the paragraph words dataset, what is the average letter count? Each card contains a particular word, right?
Okay, okay. And average I, it explains
It is
each
intermediate letter.
other card.
Not each. It is up to that card. That
Up
is,
to
if you
which?
have seen one card, then it is the average letter count of just one card. If you have seen two cards, average letter count of those two cards. If you have seen n cards till now, it's average letter count of n cards. Like
Okay,
this.
okay. So that means after all the cards have been executed, then the average of I will be equal
Yeah,
to
same
whole
thing
data
as
set, which
average
is
of.
average of F.
Yeah,
Exactly that you wanted to say.
yeah.
Understood now.
So 3.4. Yeah, which question? 3.4?
Question 6 and 8.
6 and 8. For this, I think we have to just go through these two comprehensions. So this question, see, 3 to 5 is solved using this information, right? That max 1, max 2, max 3 represents three variables that keep track of the maximum max marks. So you have all gone through the three prices problem, right? So you know
Yes,
what
ma'am.
is max 1,
Yes,
max
ma'am.
2, max. So for
Yes.
maths, if I say max 1, that is the maximum marks that is scored in maths. Max 2 is the second highest. Max 3 is the third highest. So like that, max 1 is larger than max 2, max 3, obviously. So current values of max 1, max 2, max 3 are 89, 78, 67. So then let us assume that we always compare a new card first with max 1, then with max 2, then with max 3. So that's usually how it goes. You first compare with the highest, then second highest, then third highest. So a new card is picked up from pile 1. Okay, so this is for these questions. Okay, but this is the basis. Now you ask this question. So for this, the comprehension part is saying that repeat all parts of the previous question, but change the order of comparison. That is, now we will compare first with the third highest, then with the second highest, then with the first highest. So now let's say you pick a card from pile 1 which has max marks 95, right? So 95 you first have to compare with what? Max 3. So how many questions it's asking, how many pairwise comparisons among the variables and cards are needed to update all variables? So you have to note that each pair consists of a card and one of the three variables, max 1, max 2, max 3, right? So to update all variables, how many such pairwise comparisons do I need? So let's say I pick up the first card, that is max marks is 95, right? What is max 3? 67. Okay. So if I compare first with max 3, then I know that 95 is greater than 67. Can I say that 95 is also greater than max 2 and max 1? Just at that point, without comparison, can I say anything?
Yes.
I
Excuse
am
me,
saying
ma'am.
that, yeah,
Is this class recording?
yeah, it is recorded.
I think. Yeah, okay, ma'am.
Okay, so 95 is the current max mark. It is compared with max 3, which is 67. So I know 95 is greater than max 3. But now without further comparison, can I tell that 95 is greater than max 2 or max 1? Can I say anything?
I think no.
No, right? But in the previous question, if I started the comparison with max 1, right? And I saw that, okay, the card that I have picked, the max marks is greater than max 1. then can I say it is also greater than max 2 and max 3?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the thing. So first, if I compare with max 3, I know that it is greater than max 3. Good. Next, I have to compare with max 2 also, right? So if I compare with max 2, so what is max 2? 78. Is 95 greater than 78? Yes. So it is greater than max 2 also. Now I have to compare with max 1 also, that same card. So max 1 is what? 89. So 95 is greater than max 1 also. Now I have to do the change, right? So if it is greater than max 1, then max 1 will now become 95. Max 2 will become whatever was previous max 1, that is 89. And max 3 will become previous max 2, that is 78. So to update all three variables, how many did I require?
Okay, ma'am, I got it.
See, right? So you have to if you start with comparing with the third highest, you have to compare with all three to update all three variables, because you have to reach till max 1, right?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay, which other question?
Eighth one.
So after making this update, another card comes up with 50 as the max mark, right? And how many pairwise comparisons are needed to update all variables? So first of all, if 50 is the mark, then I start with comparing with max 3. So max 3 is 67. So if 50 is less than 67, do I need to compare with max 2 and max 1? If 50 is less than 67, that is 50 is less the third highest mark, then can I not by default say that if it is less than third highest, it is also less than second highest and first highest?
Yes, ma'am.
So how many comparisons did I require? Just one.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. Any other question? 3.4.
Ma'am, question 9.
So in a variant of scores dataset, maximum marks in math, physics and chemistry. So this is another variant of the same dataset where the maximum marks in physics, chemistry and math, right? Maths, physics, chemistry are 95, 96, 97. A student has scored 94 in all three subjects and has topped the class based on the total marks. So will she get a prize? First
He
of all,
will. He
what
has
are
a
the
good chance of getting a prize, ma'am.
yes. So why that is true? Because what are the different constraints for getting a prize? First of all, the person must have scored among the top 3 in at least one subject, right? This person has not scored the maximum in any subject, hasn't scored the top highest, but could have been scored within the first 3 highest marks in any subject, right?
Yes,
she
ma'am.
could be a subject topper in any subject because she has 94 in all 3. Second condition is that her total marks, right? Her total marks should be among the top 3 total marks in the entire class. So that is also, she has a good chance of getting that. She has 94 in all 3. And another last condition is that among all 3 prizes, it should not be all boys or all girls. It should be at least one girl, at least one boy. Right. So taking all 3 things into consideration, she might get a prize. We cannot say she will definitely get the prize, but she has a good chance of getting it. Let's check one.
Okay, ma'am.
Anything else in 3.4?
Can you also solve doubt from grade assignment week 3?
Week 3 is deadline over?
No, ma'am.
No,
Ma'am, but
Ma'am, one doubt,
I
ma'am.
had a small doubt in the graded assignment. Means just a bit of the code. There is one line I'm not getting.
Okay, just for these questions, just wait till the end. Okay. Right now, I have to first complete the activity doubts and then I have to take the graded week 2 doubts. Okay.
Ma'am, in the question number 9, how can you say that a good chance?
Because I just explained that what are the different constraints for getting a prize. So she has a chance of qualifying those constraints.
But one constraint is that, ma'am, she want to at least score Individually in a
Individually,
subject.
top 3 highest. Individually among top 3 in any one subject. Right? She has to be the subject topper in any one subject.
But
And
she was
subject
not.
topper means, yes, subject topper means what? Either she has scored the first highest or second highest or third highest among these 3 marks. So in maths, the highest marks is 95. So second highest has to be 94. Right? So she has 94. So she could be a subject topper in maths. Similarly for physics also 96. That means second highest is 95, third highest is 94. So again she could be a subject topper in physics as well. For chemistry she might not be. But she has the chance of being subject topper in 2 out of 3 subjects. So definitely she has a good chance. Again, about total marks also. She might have the among top 3 total marks in the entire class. So that's why I cannot say for sure she will get a prize, but she has a chance of getting, good chance. Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
I have a doubt related to concept, ma'am.
Yeah, ask.
Can I?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
How and or work exactly?
And or. So
Yes,
when I say
ma'am.
and, if I put and as a condition, right? And is the variable between 2 conditions. So I say this and this. That means both have to be satisfied. Both have to be true. Okay.
Yeah.
And if I say or, that means either one has to be true. If both are true, that is also okay. If either one is true, that is also okay. The only time it gets invalid is if both are false.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
That's the difference. For and, there is only one valid way that both have to be true. For or, there are 3 valid ways. Either one can be true or that both of them can be true. Both the conditions can be true.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. I'll understood.
And question 2 in activity 3.5.
Okay. What is the data type of value returned by procedure max?
Question number 2.
Logic used by procedure max to compute the maximum marks depends on the parameter passed to it. Okay, so this is how to compute max, right? In the lecture, was there a procedure given? Wait, let me open the slides. One second.
It should be true now.
So this type of questions, I have to first check the procedure, right? Because I can't go through the entire video right now, but I have to check what is the procedure. Just give me a second, let me get the slides. This is week 3, lecture 5. For lecture 5, I don't see any separate slides given. But okay, this is just to find the max in any subject, right?
Yes, so we have to put the parameter like
Yeah,
maths.
that's so that is the subject is the parameter. So for
It
which
will be
subject you want to
true.
find. Right, let me open the question. Can you see my screen? Is it not shared?
Oh.
Three 3.5. Yeah. Now you can see.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So max is a procedure to basically compute the maximum marks, right? But you have to pass that parameter that for which subject you want to find the maximum marks.
Yes, ma'am.
So whatever logic you're using, that depends on the parameter that you have passed for maths, physics, chemistry, total, whatever you want. So yes, it depends. So it the procedure itself, does it depend on the parameter? So whatever your subject is, will the logic change?
No, ma'am.
Won't, right? Logic is same to find max for any subject. So it doesn't depend. Okay. Any other question?
Question number
3.6.
4.
Yeah, this is a good question. So here, see, we have a
Ma'am, I didn't understood well. Question number second, ma'am.
max is a procedure that is used to compute the maximum marks. in any subject, right? But in the pseudocode, we have seen that there is a parameter that we are passing that find maximum marks. Then in bracket, you have a parameter, which is the subject name. That is for math, you want to find the max, physics, chemistry, whichever subject you want to find the max. But the question is that whatever logic we are using in that procedure to find maximum, does it depend on the subject? It does not, right? For every subject, the logic to find maximum marks is same. You have to just do comparisons till you find the max. So that does not depend on which subject you are choosing. Okay, that's the question. So it does not depend on the parameter.
Okay.
Bits don't talk about the logic, then the statement is
Yeah.
true or false.
If you don't talk about the logic, then what are you asking?
Does the procedures depend on the parameter?
Procedure does not depend, right? Procedure is same. What will change? Only the, if you say x dot math for mathematics, then it will now check x dot physics for physics. So the only thing that change is that marks that you are extracting from the data set. That's it.
So the result will change only.
Yeah, result will definitely change.
Procedure will be same.
Procedure is same. You just have to change the variable. For physics, you extract marks for physics. For maths, you extract maths for marks for math. Logic,
Okay,
everything
ma'am.
is same. Okay, this question, see, now we make a clone of the scores data set. Okay, that means an identical data set like the scores data set. So for every card in the clone data set, what we do is we replace the maths marks by 100 minus the current maths marks. So just for an example, let's say in our scores data set, some student has scored 60 in math. So in the clone data set, what will be their maths marks? 100 minus 60. We
Okay,
replace
ma'am.
maths marks by 100 minus current marks. So their marks for mathematics in clone data set is 40. 100 minus 60. Okay, like this, we have changed the maths marks for every student by doing 100 minus current marks. So now, if we take the math marks in a card, subtract it from 100, and then replace the, basically, just look at the code.
Then the
math
maximum
clone is
marks become the lowest marks and the lowest mark becomes the maximum mark,
right.
right?
Just the opposite. Yes. So max clone is a variable which is storing maximum of this maths clone data set. So let's say in maths clone data set, the maximum is, let's say for, just for example, it is 90. Okay. In the clone data set, the maximum marks is 90.
Excuse me.
So what is,
Uh,
yeah.
I'm here only. This part only. Could you please write a bit pseudocode and explain it in by
Yeah,
breaking it
just,
in simple form? Sure.
just wait a second. Let me get one
It's
second.
along with saying if you write also, it
Mhm.
would be
I'll take an
better for
example
me to
and show you.
understand.
Just wait. Can you see the blank PDF?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
In original data set, okay, let's say student with ID 1 in original data set, scores data set, has maths marks 60. Okay. In clone data set, that same ID 1 student, what is their maths marks? 100 minus 60, that is 40. So like this, maths marks has been updated for every student, right? Now, what is the code? max clone is equal to max of maths clone. So max clone is a variable which is storing maximum of this maths clone data set. So let's say, for example, in maths clone data set, the new clone data set, the maximum of that data set is, let's say, 90. So that is stored in max clone. What is the second line of code? Max is equal to 100 minus max clone. Max is 100 minus max clone. So if max clone is 90, then 100 minus max clone is what? 10. Right. What is this 10? The question is asking,
It's the lowest mark, ma'am.
if the
Lowest
code
mark.
is executed, what is the max variable storing? So it is the minimum mark in original data set. How is it minimum marks? Let's say in this original data set, let's take one more example. In this original data set, if I say the student who has scored the lowest marks in math, let's say some student with ID 26, they have scored the lowest marks in math in the entire class. Let's say their maths marks is, they have scored 2 marks in math. So in the clone data set, for that same student, what is the mark stored?
98.
98, 100 minus 2. So is there going to be a value in this clone data set which is greater than 98? No, right? Because this 2 was the minimum value in original. So obviously this minimum value, if you subtract from 100, that is the maximum value in clone data set. So max clone is that 98. Okay, it is finding this maximum of clone data set. So if you now subtract this 98 from 100, you again get the original value. That is, for this example, 2. So 2 is basically what it is, the minimum maths mark in the original data set, right? It's just a matter of, it's just a trick question, like you just have to do subtraction from 100, that's all. So it is the minimum maths marks in original data set. Understood?
And that part, could you please just say
Which
that
part?
max clone is equal to max of maths clone. So it stores maximum of maths clone mark.
Yes. So maths clone data set contains all the cloned mathematics marks that is subtracted from 100. So among those cloned marks, what is the maximum mark? That is stored in max clone. Then you subtract that max clone from 100. So that will give you back the original data set value, the minimum
Yes, ma'am.
mathematics mark, right? That's
So
it.
this code, if executed, it will store the lowest marks
Yes, lowest marks in original data set.
of original. Yes.
To make the max clone maximum, we have to take the minimum value of original data.
Right. Same, just do the reverse.
Okay.
Any other question from 3.5? Okay, let's do 3.6. 3.6, which question?
Question number 1.
1. So refer to the procedure sum math. Right, sum math gender. So what does this procedure do basically? It finds the sum of mathematics marks based on the gender parameter. So either it will find for males or it will find for females. What will it find? Sum of mathematics marks. Right? So which of the following expressions calculates the sum of maths marks of all students in the dataset? Definitely if you calculate once for female and once for male and then do the addition. That is sum of
What is
maths
the,
marks of all students.
if I go with the first 2 options, then what is
First option is
error?
wrong, right? It is it's syntactically wrong. You can only pass one parameter. It is only one gender you can pass. You can't pass both at the same time.
It's like, ma'am, may I say,
Yeah, what?
means, may I answer to his doubt? Means,
Yeah, is it clear to you, like who asked the question, why it is wrong?
Clear, ma'am.
Right, because
The
what is the meaning
parameter
of,
is only allowed one entry
yeah,
to
only one. So it is just written gender, right? So you can pass only one gender. Can't pass using commas. If
And
it is
ma'am,
gender
for
1 comma gender 2, then you can pass like this. Yeah.
and then how will we solve question 2?
So what would be the value stored in the variable marks? So marks is equal to sum math z. So is there a gender which is called z?
No, ma'am.
No.
No, that's why it is 0. So it won't find any such card having this z gender. It is only M and F. That's why 0 will be stored.
Oh.
Okay. Any other question? 3.6.
Question 5.
State whether the following statement is true or false. A procedure must always return a value. No, it does not have. A procedure does not have to have a return statement always.
Can return or make an edit.
Yeah, it can. A procedure can be used to update something, right? I can maybe update somebody's marks using a procedure. Let's say I write a procedure which updates everyone's marks, everyone's mathematics marks by 5 in the data set. So that procedure does not have to return anything. It just has to add 5 to every maths marks. Right. So the return statement is conditional. That depends on your requirement.
So exactly what it wants to say actually, that returning value, what does it mean?
Returning a value, it means a procedure if it returns something. Like if you want to return some maths marks in this sum maths procedure, you are returning maths at the end. And you're returning some maths at the end. So you're returning the sum that you calculated to the main wherever the procedure has been called. But that return statement is not mandatory for every procedure you write. Return statement is based on your requirement. A procedure may require to return a value or it may not.
So is return statement always optional?
Yeah, that depends on the requirement of the question. If you need to return a value, return it. Otherwise, don't.
Understood.
Ma'am, last one question.
This 7.
Yeah, ma'am.
Is the following statement valid? Sum mark F comma chemistry is equal to 10. So this is not valid, right? In sum marks procedure, you can only pass the gender, right? Or wait, what is given? Yeah, some maths gender. So I think some marks is you have to pass the subject, right?
Okay, ma'am.
For some marks,
Only gender there was.
whatever is the parameter given in the is you look at the actual code in the
Only
lecture. I think
one
only
thing
the
can
subject.
pass, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
So for
Gender
some
or
marks,
subject.
yeah. So for some marks, I think you have to do for subject because some of marks in a particular subject that makes sense. So you can only pass the subject, not the gender. Okay, so this
Okay,
is not a
ma'am.
valid.
Yeah.
Now see, if this sum marks procedure did not return anything, then you couldn't write such a statement like this. Only because it returns something, you can do a comparison. Also, this is not even a comparison. This is an assignment operator. Okay, so this is a totally invalid statement. First of all, because of this parameter only, you can say it is invalid. Okay. Any other question? 3.6? 3.7? Any doubt? 3.7? I think someone asked this second question. Anyone has doubt in the second question?
Yes, ma'am.
This, right? So it is saying use the procedure max
And
mark.
third also.
Yeah, third also. If you understand second, you can do third. See, using the procedure max marks field discussed in the lecture, we compute the following expression. So basically, max marks for a particular subject, it finds what? Max marks?
Maximum marks.
Maximum marks in marks.
Maximum marks in that particular subject, right? So if I do max marks maths plus max marks physics plus max marks chemistry, this is doing summation of maximum marks in each of these subjects. Correct. Minus what I'm doing, max marks total. So what can I say about the outcome? Don't look
Minimum
at the
max
answer.
marks.
Okay, don't look at the answer that is marked here. It can be wrong.
Ma'am,
So
excuse me, just one doubt.
Minimum, maximum.
Ma'am, the question only I can't understand one part.
which part?
That what does max marks total says? It's the total of all the subjects of mathematics, physics, and chemistry.
In every card there is a field called total, right?
Okay.
So that total field means what? Sum of math, physics, chemistry for that student.
Yes.
So what is the maximum total marks scored by any student? That's what we are finding. Max marks total means maximum total marks scored by a student in the entire data set.
Okay.
So you take out that is subtracted. So just by this, looking at this expression, what can we say about this expression?
It is
Right.
it is zero, ma'am.
Will it always be zero?
A chance for greater than zero.
Let's take a little example. So let's say max for mathematics is 91. Max for physics is 92. Max for chemistry is 97. So what is the summation of these three?
91 plus 92 plus 97.
So the summation comes out to be 280, right?
Yes, ma'am.
280. Now let's say the
Ma'am,
maximum
are you
total.
not explaining the activity question now?
Yeah, this is activity only.
Is this 3.6.7? Sorry, 3.7?
Yeah, this is 3.7.
Okay, can you please speak a bit louder?
Are others having any issue hearing me? Because I am speaking very loud. I don't
Yes, no,
understand.
ma'am.
Like
No.
No,
others
ma'am.
can
No
hear
issues,
me, right?
ma'am.
No
Actually,
issues.
ma'am, actually, I was unable to means your voice was low, but I took the headphone. Then your voice is audible very much.
Because I have
Yes.
just put everything on max settings. I don't know. Like now there is nothing in my hand. Like I can't speak louder than this. So
No
I hope.
problem,
I
ma'am.
think he's not using headphone. I think
No
so.
issues, ma'am, with your mic.
Okay, so let's continue. So max of total is what? Let's say the maximum total marks scored by uh among every student, the maximum total is let's say 290. Can happen, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it possible? First tell me, is it
It's
possible?
possible. Possible.
How is it
Ma'am,
possible?
but how can
When
it be possible?
when
Exactly, that's what I'm asking. I wrote 290. You said it is possible. How is it possible? See, what is the maximum that is possible? 280, right? Because
but if someone score more than the maximum marks of the highest marks,
then that should be here, right? According to this data, the highest
Ma'am, this
a
max
person
total
can
will.
score.
max is considering the total of every cards.
Max is considering what? If I say max of mathematics, that means
It is considering total marks of total. There is a column in this course data set, right? There is a
hmm,
total column. So it's
total
considering
column.
the
Yeah,
total of that in every card,
yeah. But
not
now
in
see one
not
thing. If you
subjects.
take maximum, if this total is construed by just adding the maximums, just adding the physics, maths, chemistry marks of a student, right? That is how we are calculating total for every student. So now if we know that
If
maximum marks that has been scored in maths is 91, in physics is 92, in chemistry is 97, and the summation of that is 280, then is it possible for any student to score greater than 280?
yes, it's possible.
How? That means they have to score greater than any of these, right? They have to score greater than any of these marks. This is the maximum I have found in the data set. But if somebody has a greater total than 280, let's say somebody has scored 290, then that is not possible by adding these three. That means they have definitely scored more than the maximum in some subject, and that is invalid because then that should be the maximum. So is it logically possible for some student to score greater than 280 total if these are the maximums?
Ma'am, what if we take all the card maths, physics, and chemistry marks total and all the
Can
card
you
of max
explain
total?
activity 3.7
Then
question
we
number
check.
2?
This is question
Oh,
number
wait,
2
let
only.
me.
Question number 2,
Yes, this is question
3.7.
number 2. Yeah. Look, I'll try to explain again. Let's say
Yes, ma'am.
this max of M. This is what maximum marks scored in mathematics, right? In the entire data set. So I have taken, for example, that maximum marks is 91. So no student has scored greater than 91 in math in the entire data set. Similarly, for physics and chemistry, no student has scored greater than 92 and 97. Right? So first I find the summation of these three. That comes out to be 280. Now, is it logically possible for any student to have a
Ma'am,
maximum total?
ma'am, if a student who don't have got the maximum marks in a for no students have scored maximum marks,
In all
then
three.
in all three, then
Hmm.
there will be a case, right? Then 280 minus a mark, then it
Yeah,
can
let's
be.
say there is a person who hasn't scored any of these max numbers, right?
No
That's what
ma'am,
you're saying.
no ma'am.
Then
If in the total data set, the maximum total is 270, right?
yeah, okay, 270.
270, then he have scored maximum in physics and maths, but not in chemistry.
Correct. That can be possible.
That can be possible, and that student is the one who has scored the
Has scored the
maximum.
maximum total. Correct. This
Yes.
is definitely possible.
Then the equation in the question that said that maths of chemistry plus maths of physics plus maths of
Math minus
maths.
max of total has to be greater than equal to 0. That
Yes,
is the
ma'am.
correct answer.
Yes, ma'am.
That means no, but that's what I'm saying. That can any person score 290 as a total?
No, it
Not
can't.
No,
possible.
ma'am.
It's not possible.
Right. It has to be less than or equal to 280.
Yes, ma'am.
Best case is when a person scores the maximum marks in all three. In that case, they have scored 280. Right? Otherwise, in all other cases, it has to be less than 280. So let's say the maximum total is 270 in the data set. So let's say this person who has got this 270 has scored 91 in math, 92 in physics. What is the total? 183. 183, and we have to get what? So that means they have scored 87 in chemistry.
Yes, ma'am.
Does this add up? Right?
Then the value can be greater than 0.
Right. So in this case, the equation will give 280 minus 270, that is 10, which is greater than 0. Now, if there is some student, what is the worst case? Or in this case, let's say this is the best case, that some student has scored 91 in maths, 92 in physics, and 97 in chemistry. That is, this person has scored all the top mark in all three subjects. In that case, this person's total comes out to be 280. But this is the maximum total anyone can possibly score. So that means the equation can have 0
0.
or it can be
Greater
greater
than
than
0.
0. So it is always
Number
greater
D.
than or equal to 0. E, I think, right? Let's check one. Yeah, greater than or equal to 0. Is this question clear for everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now see, the same counterpart is
How
the
can we
Ma'am,
manage to
excuse
zero?
me. One here, one part.
Ma'am, can you explain question number 3 as well?
yeah, I will come to that.
Uh,
Wait,
Ma'am,
yeah,
just a
finish.
minute. Here, just one part. Can you exactly say? Means no need to explain actually. That here, if suppose anyone of the subject he hasn't scored maximum marks, is
Hmm.
that case possible?
Yeah, definitely possible. Like the example that I took. So the person we are assuming who has the maximum total 270, we are assuming he has scored 91 in maths, which is the subject highest, 92 in physics, again subject highest, but 87 in chemistry, which is not subject highest. So that's why his total comes up to 270. But this total is the max total anyone has scored in the entire data set. That means there is no such person who has scored maximum in all three subjects. That's why this is the highest total.
I was asking maximum in neither of the three subjects.
Yeah, that is
Actually,
also possible. Maximum is for sure if you have scored 90 in all three subjects.
yes.
Right. That can also be a person who has scored 270. So they have scored 90 in all three subjects. That is also possible. Not highest in any of the subjects.
So for that case, how we can find the max total?
Max total you're finding among the total marks in entire data set. It
Okay.
doesn't have to do with individual marks.
Okay. Understood. Thank
Now
you.
for this same question, just there is a counter question like this, that now you calculate the minimum marks. So minimum in maths, minimum in physics, minimum in chemistry minus minimum totals. So what will that give? It will always give less than equal to 0. Why? See with an example again. So let's say minimum in maths was 20 in the entire data set. Minimum in physics was 25. Minimum in chemistry was 15. Let's say these are the minimum marks. And minimum total,
Please mute.
yeah.
What was that?
Yeah, somebody's microphone was on. That's okay. See, minimum total can be, let's say, 50. Okay, that's the minimum total marks any student has scored in the data set. And these are the individual minimum marks. So if you take a summation of these three, what is the summation? 20 plus 25 plus 15. Okay, just for you understanding better, let's say the minimum total is 60. Let's take it as 60. So what is the summation of these three? 45 and
60 ma'am.
Ma'am,
45
this
plus
minimum value
15
we
is
are
what?
assuming, right?
Yeah, all of the values I'm assuming. Okay. So 45 plus 15, that comes out to be 60. And I'm saying the minimum total marks in the entire data set is also 60. So in that case, the equation will give what? 60 minus 60 is 0. Now,
But the minimum can be greater than
but
0,
the
right?
exactly. So the minimum can also be what?
Minimum rate can be greater than 60.
If I say minimum is 70. Okay. Is that possible? So let's say some person has scored 20 in math, 25 in physics. Okay. But they
Possible.
have scored 25 in chemistry. So this gives 70. This is also possible, right? But the minimum possible marks in total marks is 60. No one can score less than this because we already have the minimum marks in individual subjects. That comes out to be 60. So it can either be 60, the minimum total marks can either be 60 or greater than 60. So now just put these values in the equation. If you put these values, then the equation will always be what? Less than or equal to 0. That is 60 minus 60 or 60 minus anything greater than 60. That will be less than 0. 60 minus 70 minus 10. So it is always less than or equal to 0. It's just the reverse of the previous question.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay. 3.8.
Ma'am, I have doubt in question number 5.
This one, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So for some arbitrary card X, okay, for some arbitrary card X, we execute the following statements. So subject topper is a procedure, right? So in this subject topper, one second. Yeah. So subject topper is a procedure, and in this procedure has also been discussed in the class, I hope. So subject topper does what? What are the 4 parameters? This procedure has been discussed. Just tell me the parameters. What are the 4 parameters of subject topper?
Card ID, subject
Toppers
marks.
in one's minimum one subject
No,
and
no.
must be
I'm
one
not
mark.
asking
Physics,
what this.
chemistry, max, 3 subjects.
Card ID, marks of subjects, individual subjects.
So what would be the return values when we read from top to bottom?
Ma'am, excuse me.
True or false.
I
Ma'am,
think
excuse me,
It will
ma'am.
be
Here,
false, false, false. Second line, it will be true,
yeah, just
false,
wait.
false.
Somebody I think did not understand the question. Yeah. Please
yes,
ask.
ma'am.
Yes,
Actually,
ma'am.
the question, what it wants to say.
Subject
Yes,
proper
same
procedure, have
problem.
you seen? Subject proper procedure, everyone has seen?
Ma'am, I had missed that part. Please, could
Wait.
you?
First, let's see the procedure. I think it is in 3.8.
Ma'am, 3.9, there is parameter just above the question.
I just want to show them what that procedure does. That's it. So there should be one slide with all of the procedures. That's the slide I'm looking for. Yeah, this is subject topper. Okay. So subject topper procedure does what? See this entire procedure where it is written. Yeah, here. So in subject topper, you pass 4 parameters. You can see this slide.
Yeah, ma'am.
So first parameter is the card, which is the card ID, right? Then you have to pass the mathematics marks, physics marks, chemistry mark. Okay. So these are what? M mark, P mark, C mark. These are what?
Physics, chemistry, math.
Maths, physics, chemistry.
Is it that?
Yes, ma'am.
No,
Maximum marks of
correct.
maths.
So these are the maximum marks in these 3 subjects. M mark is maximum marks of math. P mark is maximum marks in physics. C mark is maximum marks in chemistry in the entire data set. And you have the card itself as a parameter. So you can extract all the marks from this card. So card.maths is the maths marks from that card, right? So what does this subject topper procedure do? It will return true. That is, a person is a subject topper if they have scored the top mark. So this basically this M mark is what? This is the third highest, right? If your maths mark, whatever maths marks you have scored, if that is greater than or equal to the third highest in mathematics, then can I say that person is a subject topper in math?
Why third highest? Means should be first highest, whatever you told.
For understanding this, you have to go through the entire procedure. And you can, I don't know if I've missed the last class, but third highest means what? We find the first 3 highest in every subject. So in maths, we find the first 3 highest marks. So we call anyone who has scored among these 3 highest marks a subject topper in math. That means if you have scored more than or equal to the third highest, you are definitely a subject topper in math.
Okay.
Okay. So these M mark, P mark, C mark are the third highest mark in math, physics, chemistry. So now you pick a card and you check whether that person's maths marks is greater than equal to M mark, or physics mark is greater than equal to P mark, or chemistry is greater than equal to C mark. That means if he has scored greater than equal to the third highest in any subject, if any of them is true, even, or we have joined using or because at least one has to be true, right? The person has to be subject topper in at least one subject. So if any of them is true, you return true. That is, yeah, this person is a subject topper. If none of their marks in any of the subjects, sorry, are you saying something? Yeah. So if this person has not scored greater than equal to M mark, P mark, or C mark, then you return false, that this person is not a subject topper. Okay. So now you come back to the question. So if this is the question, wait, I think.
Ma'am, excuse me. So the third highest part, could you once show?
How to calculate third highest?
No, not how to calculate third highest. That part which you told, that why third highest is taken instead of first highest. That part.
Because we have this rule that a person is a subject topper if that person has scored among the first 3 highest marks in that subject. Right.
First 3 highest
marks.
marks.
That means in maths, for example, let's say the first highest is 100, second highest is 99, third highest is 98. So if you have scored greater than or equal to 98, you can be considered a subject topper in math.
Okay, understood. That exactly it wants to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me open the question. One second. So now you understood what this procedure is doing. Now just go to the question. It was 3.8. Which question was it? 3.8?
Question number 5.
Right. Yeah, this. Now you check for a card X. Okay. First line is what? Subject proper X 000. That means what?
The card number host, the subject's maximum mark is 0.
Zero.
Then we want to check that the card ID's subject mark is greater than 0.
Greater
Then
than or
it will
equal to 0.
greater than or
Right.
equal to 0. Then it will
That
be
means
Yes.
it will be
true.
returning true. Right. It is true. Second line X 100 00. So again, since there is a 0 present and we are joining using OR, right? That means even if there is one single 0 present, that person will be a subject topper. If in any of the subject we say that the third highest marks is 0, right? Then everyone is a subject topper in that subject. Is that true or
Yes.
not?
True, ma'am.
So that means in all the lines you can see that there are zeros present. In the first line, all three subjects third highest has 0. Second line, two subjects third highest has 0. Third line, math third highest is 0. So that means since we are joining using OR condition, only one we need to be true. That means all three are going to be giving true. So it is true, true, true. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, excuse me. One person named Sudhanshu Kumar, I think he has a question. He wrote in chat.
Okay. Yeah, please ask me which question you have a doubt in. Or you can post the question on chat also.
No, ma'am. I have no doubt.
Okay. All right. So 3.8, any other question?
Ma'am, that same question.
Hmm.
Actually, it's going by order, right? Subject proper first. It is going through this card, and the score is 000, right?
No, not the score. See, that's why I showed you the procedure.
So that is the
Look at
reason it is written. I know the procedure. I'm asking here. Actually, zero. The
this
zero
000
is the
is what? It is the
marks of
third highest.
the respective subjects.
No,
So
not
it is
marks. It is third highest of respective subject. That's what the procedure I just
okay. Okay,
told you.
okay, understood. Okay, the marks of the respective subject is stored in the card X. It's comparing with
Yeah,
zero. Okay,
X is the
understood.
entire card. Yes.
Okay,
So if
okay,
you write
understood.
X dot math, that is the respective mark.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Ma'am, sixth question. 3 point.
Question. Okay. In the extremely improbable event that all the students have scored 100 in all three subjects. It means every student has scored 100 in all three subjects. That is a very rare event, right? Usually won't happen. So then how do we distribute the three prizes? So in that case, what do you think is the answer?
We do not distribute, ma'am.
We don't distribute because in that case everyone is a topper, right? We can't distribute three prizes.
But ma'am, like according to the code, we should be distributing the prizes.
We should be distributing to whom?
All the three guys.
But the criteria that we have, it is same for everyone now. If everyone has scored 100 in every subject, then how can we?
So, ma'am, we have to mention in the code that also ki if all the three have same marks, then we have to not distribute the prize.
No, in the code, what we are finding, see, in the code, we are
Be a logical error.
the logic itself, it is based on what? This greater than equal to, less than equal to, these symbols means what? There are different marks. If everyone has scored the same thing, if everyone is a topper, in that case, the first constraint that we need to pick subject wise toppers, that a person should be a subject wise topper in at least one subject. In that case, this constraint is filled by everyone. Everyone is a subject topper. Second constraint that a person should have the among top three values in the total marks. That is also same for everyone. There are no top three total marks. Everyone has scored 300 out of 300. So there is only one total mark. Again, we cannot pick two girls and one boy or two boys, one girl. Like this, we cannot pick because every person has the same mark. So there is no way we can distribute any prizes like that because all constraints are failing. right? Those
Ma'am, if
constraints
we
only
put,
work if it is a well-distributed data set.
ma'am,
So exa
does it work if we put this code in a computer?
Yeah, you can try with it if you can run it through a data set.
Okay.
This will work, but that last constraint, that how to pick how to make sure that there are not all boys and all girls in the toppers, that thing you need to write the logic for. It is not entirely possible because the solution that we have given is that if you come across such a value, such a price distribution where you see that all three are boys, in that case, what we ask you to
Ma'am,
do is you pick the yeah.
Simple that there is no fair way to choose who's
Yeah, there
gets
is no
which
fair way because
subjects.
if it is all three boys, okay, even in this data set, if we find that the top three prizes are going to all three boys, so that is fair. All three boys are getting the prizes because of their marks. But our constraint is that there should be at least one girl, right? Or there should be at least one boy. So now to get this at least one girl, what we will do is take the third topper, and for that boy we will remove that boy's card, and we will again do the entire procedure until a girl comes in the third place. But that is not fair, right? So that's why there is a solution given, but it's not a fair solution. Similarly, if there are all three girls in the top three, then again you have to remove the third person, the third girl who has got the third prize. You have to remove her card from the data set, and then again do the entire procedure till a boy comes in that third place.
ma'am,
Yeah.
hello? Am I
Yes.
audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Ma'am, can we ask some the question of the week 3 next class as well?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Activity 3.8. Any other question?
and here the question what it exactly wants to say actually.
It just wants to know that if such a event occurs where every person has scored 100 in every subject, then how can we distribute the three prizes? So in that case, we cannot distribute because all the constraints, these constraints are only valid for such a data set where students have well distributed marks among 1 to 100. Not everyone who has scored 100. Similarly, if everyone has scored 0 in every subject, you cannot distribute a prize. So in these rare circumstances, we cannot distribute any prizes.
So it's according to the above procedure which was given.
Yeah, it is according to this procedure that we are following. This entire
No,
procedure, this three
I am
prizes.
not asking about that. I am asking about the this one is according to the above question.
No, this is a separate question. In the extremely improbable event that all students have scored 100 in all three subjects, in that case, how can we distribute prize?
Because here no third highest marks is there, so we cannot distribute the
No third
prize.
highest, no second highest. There is only one mark. In every
Okay.
subject, everyone has scored 100. Total marks is 300 for everyone. So you cannot distribute.
But if anyone scores 100, 98, 99,
Yeah, if it is
then
well
we can score.
distributed like our data set, then you can definitely do it.
Understood.
Okay, 3.9.
Ma'am, first question, ma'am.
Changing the sequence of cards is one of the side effects while working with procedures. So side effects always harm the end goal of the program. Is it true? Every procedure, if you have gone through the lecture for solving
No,
this particular
false.
activity, you have to go through the lectures. So side effects always don't harm the end goal of the program, right? Like one side effect is they're saying that changing sequence of the cards is one of the side effects,
Yes, ma'am.
right? So is a side effect always harming whatever our goal is?
Can do it.
No,
It can harm, it might not harm. In some questions, the sequence of cards might matter, it might not matter in some other question. That depends on
ma'am,
But
our
it's just rare, ma'am.
in this question, we have to, for this answer, we have to say according to the question.
yeah. So for this particular activity, you can just go through the lecture once, you will get much clear idea. I mean, these are just theoretical questions.
Yeah, about that lecture I have cleared, ma'am, but this in general case, but the side effect affects the harms the goal, right?
Huh. So in
So
general case,
that's why
side effect, does
I
it
have a
always
doubt.
harm end goal? No, it always doesn't
Not
harm the end goal.
okay. If they won't be giving this always, then it would be true.
Yeah, in this particular case, it can harm the end goal. In a particular case, it can harm the end goal.
Yes.
Okay. Similarly, see, these two questions are also like that. So, what is the point of adding deck as an argument? This one, everyone is clear with this question.
Yes, ma'am.
The third one. See, from
Clear.
these type of questions, like I'll be clear with you, this type of question we don't ask much. Okay, this type of question because these
I
are
have a
very kind of ambiguous.
doubt
Yeah,
in third question.
The questions will be from theory or pseudocode.
mainly
Weightage.
pseudocode related. Yeah, so we won't be see activity questions are just to check that whether you have studied the lectures or not. So these are from particular lectures. In the actual exam, we will be testing your knowledge of solving pseudocode. Okay. So third question, yeah. So these two procedures accept a pair of integers and return the same value when a given pair of arguments are passed to them. Right? That means these two procedures return the same value. They accept a pair of integers, return the same value. So they are functionally identical. In addition, both procedures produce identical side effects. So which statement is true? If they have identical return values and identical side effects.
Same interface.
But implementation can be different.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
That can
So
only seen after the procedure.
Correct. So interface is same, but they have different implementation. So to understand these things better, you can go watch the lecture once if it is not clear to you. Okay, this 3.1 lecture, just go through it once. 3.9, sorry. Yeah, now please ask whatever week 2 graded assignment doubts you have. Week 2 graded. Anyone has any doubt? Week 2 graded? Ritika Kumari, are you saying something?
Yes, ma'am. I'm saying
Yeah, your voice is very low for me. Can others hear?
No, ma'am.
ma'am, are you hearing?
Yeah, this is better. Go on.
Ma'am, question number 6 and 9 in the assignment two.
6 and 9.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, wait. I don't think I'll be able to start week 4 today because time is not left. That's okay. Week 2 graded. Okay. 6, right?
Yeah.
This one.
6. Yeah.
Okay. So what will be the value of x after the execution of the following procedure using scores dataset? Okay. So you arrange all cards in single file called file 1, maintain variables a, b, c, d, y. 5 variables, you initialize all the variables to 0 except for y. Y variable you initialize to 100. Okay. Now you maintain a variable x and you initialize x to none. So total how many variables we have till now? 6 variables. A, B, C, D are all 0 initially. Y is 100, x is none. Now if file 1 is empty, then you stop the iteration. Otherwise you read the top card. Now come to step 6. If the town city is Chennai, then add 1 to A. Okay. A is incremented by 1 if town city of the current card is Chennai. If A is less than Y. So now just do it with some examples. So let's say you pick the first card. The town city is Chennai. So A becomes 1. From 0, I have incremented A to 1. Y is initially 100. Is 1 less than 100? Yes. So you store A in Y. So Y is also now 1. Both A and Y are now 1. And you store Chennai in X. X is now storing Chennai. Now you go for the next iteration. So you move the current card to another file called file 2 and you repeat from step 4. So you pick the next card. Let's say the next card you pick, the city is Bangalore. So in that case, you add 1 to B. So B becomes 1. Is B less than Y at this point? Is 1 less than 1?
No, ma'am.
No. So y will not be updated, right? And x will also not be updated. Only if b is less than y, then you can update. So let's say now you pick the third card, right? You pick the third card, that is Madurai. So in that case, again you add 1 to c. C is also not less than y.
Okay, ma'am, I'll
So
put in the statement.
understood, right?
Yeah, ma'am.
So still, let me just finish if anyone else hasn't understand. Uh,
Okay.
so in this case, y, when will it be again? Will it ever be changed?
No, ma'am.
So when, what should be the answer? That what will be the value of x after executing?
Card.
You consider the
First
same
card down.
sequence.
The pile 1 ID number 0th town.
So ID number 0. What is the
Yes.
town city of that card? Chennai.
Chennai.
So Chennai will be stored in x.
X.
Now after that, since y, there will never be another condition where a, b, c, d, any of these are going to be less than y. It is never going to happen. So that's why x will never be changed again. X will remain Chennai only. Yeah, come again. Okay. So x will remain Chennai till the end of execution. Okay. Only way that you can change x from Chennai to any other city is if a, b, c, d, any of these are less than y at some point, but that cannot happen. Okay. 9, right? Question 9. This one? Okay. So what will a minus b represent after executing? Yeah, this one, right? This is 9. Yeah. So what will a minus b represent after the execution of the following procedure using shopping bills? So shopping bills data set you all know. Now you arrange all the cards in single pile. Pile 1, initialize variables a and b to 0. Okay, 2 variables we have, initialize both to 0. If pile 1 is empty, stop the iteration. If not, read the top card. Come to step 5. If the bill contains an item bananas, then add 1 to variable a, right? Step 6. If total amount of that bill is less than 600 and bill contains item bananas, then add 1 to variable b. Step 7. Move the card to another pile and again repeat from step 3. So what is happening here? A minus b. First tell me A is representing what?
Bananas.
Number of cards that contains the item bananas. Number of bills that contains the item bananas. B is representing what? Number of bills that contain the items bananas and the total is less than 600. So which is the larger set among these two, A or B?
A.
A is the larger set, right? Now if you do A minus B, what is it representing? Number of bills that contain the item bananas, but the total is greater
More
than or
than equal
equal
to
to
600.
600.
Ma'am,
So which,
hello.
yeah,
Ma'am, can you repeat again what you said?
I cannot hear you. Can you speak louder?
Ma'am, what you say about the A larger?
A is the larger set, right? Because A is all the bills that contain the items bananas. Now B is a subset of this. B is all the number of bills which contain item bananas, but the total has to be less than 600. So that's the smaller set because we have no bill constraint. We have no total amount constraint for variable A. For variable B, we have that extra constraint. So it is the smaller set. It is a subset of A. So A minus B is which cards? The number of bills which contain bananas, but the total is greater than equal to 600. The remaining ones. Right? So which option? Option A.
Okay, ma'am. Number of bills that contain the item bananas. Total is more
And
than.
total is more than equal to 600.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this clear for everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Any other question from graded?
Ma'am,
I asked non-graded at least.
No, ma'am.
ma'am, I have one question. Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear.
Ma'am, question number 1. In that, can you explain how the third option will also be an answer?
This question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me check. Following procedure is executed using scores data sets, right? So A is initially false. Now, while table 1 has more cards, you go through all the cards in scores data set. You read the top card. Then condition is what? If physics marks is greater than equal to 60 or city town is not Velour. So if either of these conditions are true, then you can set A to true. Right. So what is the conclusion of the above pseudocode? First option is saying A will return true when there exists at least one student from Velour. So can I say anything about this?
Ma'am, this is false.
This is false because if a student is from Velour, then the city town will be Velour. But we need not equal to Velour. So A option is nothing we can say about it. Option B is saying A will return true when there exists at least one student who is not from Velour. This is true.
Yes.
If we find any such student, A will be set to true because this is OR condition. Any one of the condition has to be true. So this is correct. Option C is saying A will return true when there exists a student having physics marks greater than or equal to 60 and is not from Velour.
It's also, ma'am. It's
So in
also
this
true.
case also, it is also true. This is the AND condition basically. So in this case, both are
Or,
true.
ma'am.
But ma'am, in
Right.
the code it says or, so
Yeah, it says OR, but OR also contains AND, right? OR is valid when either one condition is true or both conditions are true. That is
okay.
when OR is valid. So for this also, OR is valid. Physics marks is greater than equal to 60 and not from Velour. So both conditions are true. That is also one case of OR.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so option C is also true. Yeah. Any
Ma'am,
other
one
question?
more
Okay, option
thing.
D is also true, I think. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, one more thing. In question number 5, it says that I have got the right answer, but the score is showing 0.
For this one.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, it says the last option is the correct answer, and I have chosen that only, but it shows that the score is 0.
Yeah, this is the correct answer. See, in mine also this is marked.
But ma'am, it says score 0.
Okay, you do one thing, you just take a screenshot of this thing that is showing on your portal and you mail to me. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
You have
Ma'am,
my
can
mail
you
ID?
give your mail ID?
Yeah, okay. I'll write in chat. Yeah, I've sent in chat. Okay, you can mail it to me. Just attach the screenshot.
Hello, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am.
Any other question from graded 2?
No, ma'am.
No, I have a question from question on right now.
Can't hear you.
We should create a segment question.
Can anyone else hear? Or I am not hearing at all.
Are you hearing me, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, non-grade means they think that
You do one thing. You just write in the chat. Just write in the chat. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else has a doubt? Wait, let me mute everyone for a second. Yes. Now, please, those of you who have a doubt in graded week 2 assignment, unmute and ask if you have any doubt.
No, ma'am.
Week 2 not graded assignment. Okay, that means practice assignment. Practice which question?
No doubts, ma'am.
Okay, question 8 and 9. Okay, you can do one thing, just check the last class for week 2 that I took. So in that class, I've discussed all the practice assignment questions. You can find 8 and 9 there also. Okay, just try watching that lecture one. If you don't understand from there also, you can ask me in the next session. Okay.
ma'am, may I get that from grade calendar?
All the recordings are there in the YouTube, right? So from there you can
Ma'am,
find it.
excuse me. May I ask now?
Yeah.
Grade assignment number 5.
Week 2, right?
Yes, ma'am. Week 2, number 5
Hmm.
is about this question. This one I understood. Just one part. Just explain here the part where x dot maths is less than or equal to b, and
Hmm.
x dot maths is not equal to a.
Hmm.
So how is this means this part? Could you please
So for
exactly say what it said?
initially you have A and B both 100, right? Now you go through all the cards in the data set. You check if for a particular card, you check if that card's marks is less than equal to A, then you assign A to that mark.
Yes,
Right?
that part I understood.
Next you check that if the maths marks of that card is also less than equal to B and not equal to A. So this part is done why? Because we want to store the second minimum in in B.
Ma'am, that
So A is going to store the minimum. B is going to store the second minimum. So for
second
B,
minute.
second minimum, it cannot be equal to A because A is storing
Yes, ma'am.
minimum.
That
But
I
it has to
understood.
be less than equal to B, the last B.
I'm exactly actually wanted to ask that is the x dot maths marks stored in A then or those are separate? If x dot math is less than equal to B, these are separate.
If X dot math is not equal to A, that means what? It is not the minimum. So A and B are both storing separate marks, right? A is storing the minimum, B is storing the second minimum.
I'm actually wanted to ask that before that, if math marks is less than equal to A, then
Listen, I'll take an
the
example. Okay, this will make it clear. Let's say the first card you pick, maths marks is 6. First card. Okay.
yes,
A and B are both 100.
yes,
At
ma'am.
this point, X dot maths is less than equal to A. Fine. So A is storing 60 now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next if condition, 60 is less than equal to B. Yes. B is also 100. 60 is less than equal to 100.
Yes, ma'am.
X dot maths is not equal to A. Is that true? It is not true because A has been assigned 60.
Yes, ma'am.
So next card you pick, let's say the person has scored 55. Okay. So now X dot maths is less than equal to A? Yes. So again A is now assigned 55. X dot maths is also less than equal to B. But again it is not equal to A. This condition is not satisfying. Now let's say you pick a third card where the person has scored 56. So A is now containing 55. B
Yes,
is
ma'am.
still 100. Right.
So
Now you check.
here,
So now A will not be updated because 56 is not less than equal to 55. But you come to the second if. Is 56 less than equal to 100? Yes. Is 56 not equal to 55? Yes. So then you store it in B. So A contains 55, which is the minimum. B contains 56, which is the second minimum.
so one more thing I wanted to ask, just a hypothetical situation. If suppose we take the card which has 54,
Hmm.
in
Then
that
again,
case,
A will be changed because then the minimum is getting changed.
so
Right?
if in case of B's, if x dot maths is less than equal to 100, means suppose 54 is less than equal to 100, and in A 55
No,
is
now
stored.
you're not comparing with 100, right? Now A and B are both storing what? 55, 56.
Yes.
100 comparison is for the first comparison when initially A and B are 100. If your third card is containing marks 54, then first you compare with A. Current A is containing 55. 54 is less than equal to 55, so you modify A.
Okay.
Okay, so A
Ma'am, but
always contains the minimum.
I was asking that if 54 is in second card, in that case I was asking.
Then also, whichever is the minimum marks currently. So if you have seen two cards till now, whatever is the minimum marks in those two cards, it will be stored in A. And the marks just greater than that will be stored in B.
And suppose I have taken two cards. One is 55, another is 54. Then the algorithm will go like
First
this.
card is 55, right? First card 55. A and B are 100.
Yes.
55 is less than equal to A. Yes. So A
Less
is
than equal
assigned
to 100.
55. A is now assigned 55.
Yes.
Second if statement, you check is 55 less than equal to 100 because B is also initially 100. So this condition is true, but the AND part is not true.
Yes.
55 not equals to 55. So B will remain 100. B will not be updated.
Yes.
Next card you pick is 54. So again you check, is 54 less than equal to 55? Yes. So again
Yes.
A is changed. A is now 54. But it's B changed.
But that part once again, please repeat that here x dot maths less than b. That part once again,
X
please.
dot maths less than B means what? The current maths marks. Is it less than equal to B? That's what you're
50,
checking.
54 is less
Less
than
than
equal.
equal to 100. Yes.
Yes. But
But
the and
54, yeah, is 54 less than not equal to 54? That's
no,
wrong. 54
wrong.
is equal to 54. That's why B is not updated to 54.
Yes.
Okay. A will always have the minimum and B will have the second minimum of the entire data set.
So in the then in the case of a, the x dot maths is now stored as
54.
54 after
Yes.
55.
Yes.
How is that means how exactly that's happening?
So every time you're reassigning, right? These are iterations of the while loop. So for every iteration, you're checking these two if conditions. Whichever satisfies, you're reassigning A and B accordingly. First time you reassigned A to 55. Next iteration, you again checked, reassigned A to 54. If the third
Yes,
card
now the
contains
x dot
53.
maths is 54. So we will check whether it is less than or equal to it.
Yeah. Again, next card, if you pick, if that contains 53, then you check, is 53 less than equal to 54? Then again reassign A.
Okay.
Okay.
Understood, ma'am. Perfectly.
All right. So I think can't start week 4 today. So next session you will start with week 4 summary. Right? Then we can do the practice and activity questions. So for now, you just go through the week 4 lectures yourself. Next session we'll start discussing.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Thank you
Thanks for
for time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good night, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am. Good night. Have a nice day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Good evening. I was not able to join early because of some network connection. And I want to ask what's happening now in the meeting, and if it is over, then what was the summary of today's class? One Shiv Kumar.